Hey guys, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel, and today's video is all about sunscreen. Now, I know you love a good sunscreen review video, and so do I. I mean, sunscreen is super tricky to get just right for your individual skin, and yet it's the most essential skincare product that we use every single day, right? So lots of reviews, super helpful and important. And today's video is gonna be a little bit different than what you might have expected from me because these four products I bought at Target and Walgreens. That's right, the American Drugstore sunscreen review. Now, you know everything I tried in today's video is fragrance-free, essential oil-free, and drying alcohol-free. All four of these are chemical sunscreens because that's just what I prefer, and that's what's really easy for me to wear every single day. And I've got a variety of prices here starting from $7 all the way up to $25. So if you guys are so ready to dive deep into this review, give the video a big thumbs up and let's get started. So first up is the Bondi Sands fragrance-free face sunscreen lotion, and I purchased this at Walgreens for $6.99. Now, I love that I really emphasize that these are American Drugstore sunscreens, but this particular brand does hail from down under. This is an Australian brand. So this is a chemical sunscreen. It uses 4 different UV filters, and actually all 4 of the products in today's video use those 4 UV filters in some different variation, different percentages, but those are the 4 filters that we are looking at with today's products. Now, this Bondi Sands sunscreen is claiming to be water resistant for up to 80 minutes, meaning it's not waterproof. And actually, when I see water resistant, I think more like sweating, more resistant to sweat. So this might not be something you want to go swimming with, but this could be a great option if you want a sunscreen that's going to stand up to a little bit more sweat on the forehead or a super hot and humid day. All right, so scent and texture. Yes, I have a category for scent because I found that all of these products do have a very noticeable sunscreen smell to them. This particular one from Bondi Sands, I would say it was on the more medium side as far as the scent goes. It's noticeable, it's there, it does fade after a while. It's not super light, but it's not super heavy either. Now, as far as texture goes, they do call this a lotion type of sunscreen. Now, if you are familiar with K-Beauty or J-Beauty sunscreens, it's not quite like that. It's not as elegant as that. But, you know, it has really great spread onto the skin. It absorbs really nicely. It's not something you have to work really hard to get it to absorb and settle onto the skin. So in that sense, I think it is fair to call it a lotion. It doesn't feel super heavy on the skin. Maybe a little bit more light to medium weight feeling on the skin, but it does have a little bit of a finish that's maybe a touch greasy. Not overly so, but you can definitely feel it, and you can definitely kind of see a little bit of a sheen or a shine. Some people might call it dewy. It really didn't bother me all that much, but I have a higher tolerance for a shiny kind of finish to my sunscreen, so just something to keep in mind. Not super bothersome, but a little bit more noticeable. Now, I did not notice a white cast with this sunscreen at all, and it was really easy to reapply. I don't feel like it built up really thick on my skin or it really made the greasiness out of control, you know what I mean? And it did not peel on reapplication. It wore really nicely underneath makeup as well. The texture on all fronts was a really positive experience for me. So I was really digging this sunscreen. I mean, from the price, which I think is really ideal, $7 for sunscreen, awesome. I mean, I was really excited about this before I even bought it because I'd read so many good things about it on Instagram. The texture really pulled me in too. I was actually really impressed with the texture. It was really a joy to apply. But unfortunately, this is a sunscreen that made my skin feel very dry and tight towards the end of the day. Now, let's just back up really quickly for a second. If you're new to my channel, maybe this is the first time you're watching a video from me, my skin type is combination, but I'm very prone to dehydration. And that is actually a condition that can get worse with some sunscreens. I've had it happen with some chemical ones. I've had it happen with almost every single mineral sunscreen I've ever tried, which is just awesome. Another hoop that I have to jump through when it comes to finding the perfect sunscreen, right? Like we don't have enough to jump through as it is. Here's another one for me. So unfortunately, this just wasn't very comfortable for me to use every single day. It made my skin feel very dry and tight. However, the review doesn't end there. Twist, I handed this one over to my mom. She is like my sunscreen guinea pig because she has incredibly sun sensitive skin. She is very pale, but she actually gets kind of an allergic reaction to intense UV exposure. So the summertime's very difficult for her because if she missed a spot with her sunscreen or the sunscreen's not protecting her enough, she will get red, like rashy, itchy spots on her skin. It's very uncomfortable for her. I feel really, really bad. She has to be super diligent about sun protective clothing, sunscreen, hats, sunglasses. Yeah, it's like, it's a whole thing for her, unfortunately. But that actually makes her a really great guinea pig for sunscreen performance. She loves this sunscreen. Like, I don't think she's been without this sunscreen since I gave it to her. She has nothing but good things to say about it. She likes the texture, the performance. It really protects her skin very well. She sat outside with this. She had like a working outdoor lunch for like 2 hours. She was outside and she didn't get itchy at all. She used it on her neck and chest and the tops of her feet, and like, we got an A++ back from her. She is not prone to dehydration. She has like fairly sensitive skin, I would say, but she doesn't usually go through the dehydration issues that I have. So based on that experience, I really do still want to recommend this sunscreen. It's affordable, it's effective, it's high protection, it's got a really nice texture. So if you're not dehydrated, this is a big recommendation. And if you're on a budget looking for something affordable you can just slather yourself in, this is definitely a great one to check out. Now, I also picked up another sunscreen from Bondi Sands, and this is their SPF 50 fragrance-free sunscreen spray. And I paid about $9.99 for this at Walgreens. So this is also a chemical sunscreen. It uses the same 4 filters but in different percentages. This is also offering broad spectrum protection with water resistance up to 80 minutes. So I picked this up for my body sunscreen. I have used spray sunscreens in the past. There's always good and bad things about them. Like, I'm very like wishy-washy because I feel like they're really quick. Than like the more traditional cream types that you have to really rub into your legs and arms. I feel like the sprays are a lot quicker, and they usually dry down quicker too, but they usually also make my like limbs feel like they're encased in a layer of grease, and I can't wait to get back home and shower. That's just been my experience in the past. So love the application, usually hate the texture. So let's talk about this spray from Bondi Sands, because I find this to be actually a little bit different than a lot of the sprays I've used in the past from like Neutrogena, because when you spray this, it actually sprays on like a foam. Instead of like a mist, it comes out like a foam. I'm just gonna do it right now, honestly. You see that? Whoop, that was a little bit too much. So this is spraying on a little bit different. The kinds I've used before kind of mist out and they hit like all over like my furniture and stuff. But this is really great. So this just gets you like, I put on way too much. This gives you like a really good application really quickly. And I did put on a little bit too much, but do you see how quickly this is like absorbing into, into my skin and drying down? That's like key when it comes to body sunscreen for me, because you want this to dry down and kind of form that film really quickly onto your skin, because that film is what protects your skin. And if you disrupt it while it's drying, maybe you're like changing your clothes or something, you may not be getting protection all over. So yeah, I did over apply a little bit, but do you see like no greasy shine to my skin? Do you see this? It like rubbed in really quickly, really easily, and yeah, it's already dry. A little bit of sheen on this arm compared to the one that doesn't have sunscreen, but it's really not bad. It's actually very comfortable, and in fact, I find that this little like richness, this little bit of sheen, it actually does go away after like 15 minutes or so. It actually even absorbs down even more so in a little bit. I find this really comfortable. This is not something I feel like I have to just go run and wash up as soon as I possibly can. It doesn't drive me crazy, and it doesn't leave like grease marks like in your car and stuff. So anyways, I was really impressed with the texture and the application of this. Is it still a little bit messy? Kind of, because you saw when I applied it, like some kind of fell on the ground, definitely. And like I do it in my bathroom, I get some on my countertop, but it's not nearly as bad as a lot of the more mist type of sprays that I've used in the past. Honestly, this is a pretty like solid winner for me. I'm probably gonna pick this up again soon. I'm like running through it so fast. But for like getting out the door to walk my dog, you know, if you got a dog, they gotta go when they gotta go, and you just gotta get your sunscreen on as quick as you possibly can. This really allows me to do it. It's very affordable, and I think this is probably gonna be a body sunscreen staple for me for a long time. Next is the Neutrogena Clear Face Breakout Free Liquid Lotion Sunscreen. I bought this at Target for $10.99, and this is SPF 50 Broad Spectrum. Now this is using the patented Helioplex technology. This is exclusive to Neutrogena products, and basically this is sunscreen technology that helps to stabilize the overall UV filters, making them more photo stable, more protective, and longer lasting on the skin. So the same 4 chemical filters that were used in Bondi Sands are used here in Neutrogena, just different percentages here. This is also another water resistant sunscreen up to 80 minutes. All right, texture and scent. Now the scent of this, very strong SPF smell on this one. No fragrances covering it up. This is the pure smell of sunscreen, and it's pretty heavy, and it does linger around too. Now I'll tell you, that doesn't bother me whatsoever. Honestly, that scent is like the official smell of summer in my opinion, and it's great because you never forget that you put your sunscreen on, right? Because you can smell it. But I know some people really don't like that, so I wanted to bring it up. This is the one that smells the most like sunscreen on the entire list. I was actually incredibly impressed with the texture of this, and I think it's actually my favorite out of all of the products in this video. This texture is really pleasing. It's actually pretty light on the skin. I was very impressed. It's got great spread, really good absorbency. You don't have to really work it into your skin. Do you know what I mean? It just works really nicely with your skin, absorbs and forms that film really, really nicely. And the finish of this, it's really, it's like dry. Not mattifying dry, but like it doesn't have that sheen or that like shine to it like the Bondi Sands did. It feels really light. This feels lighter on my skin than Bondi Sands did. There's no greasiness or richness at the top. It just like blends into your skin. Do you know what I mean? Like it just has a really pleasant finish to it. I think pretty much everybody is going to enjoy the texture of this because it doesn't make you extra shiny. It doesn't mattify you. Like it just works with your skin. Now, as far as white cast goes, I'm going to be bluntly honest with you. I did notice a little one. And when I say little, I mean like a hint. Like a whisper of a white cast. You know, sometimes you see a white cast right away, and then when the sunscreen kind of like dries down and settles, it goes away. Yeah, that's what I experienced with this. So for me, it wasn't like that big of a deal, but for some other people, like just be aware it's possible with this one. I think it's possible. But as far as reapplication goes, like perfect. Like no pilling, no heavy feeling, no greasy feeling, no thickness on the skin. Just, again, just a really nice texture overall. So, spoiler alert, this is my favorite product in the video. I'm like giving it away in the middle of the video. This is my favorite one. Yeah, the texture plays into it, definitely. That dry kind of finish to it, you know what I mean? That non-shiny finish to it. That's huge for me in the summertime because my combination skin definitely leans more oily. I get quite shiny in my T-zone, just all over really, but especially my T-zone goes a little bit overboard with the oil in the summertime. Plus it's hot, plus it's humid, plus I'm sweating. So this is the perfect recipe for really, really shiny, greasy, melted looking skin. And I definitely rock that all summer long. So like I said, shininess doesn't really bother me. I'm going to be shiny no matter what, but I'll just say I do appreciate when the sunscreen doesn't contribute to that. So this is definitely a big reason why I've been reaching for this so much, is just the finish on this is really pleasant, and it works really well underneath makeup. I didn't get any pilling with makeup or any just like weird buildup or dry. You know, sometimes like you can get dry patches with sunscreen and you don't really see them until you apply makeup and your makeup like clings to them. Yeah, didn't really experience that with this either. Like it was just really a joy to use. It offers great protection, great texture. I like the sunscreen smell. I don't know. I know that's a deal breaker for some. I enjoy it. I think calling a sunscreen like breakout free is a huge claim. But all that being said, I think a lot of skin types will enjoy this one, definitely. Next is the roche-posay Anthelios Melt-in Milk Sunscreen. This is SPF 100. I purchased this for $25 at Target. Now, just like we talked about the Helioplex with the Neutrogena sunscreen, which is offering photo stability for the sunscreen, La Roche-Posay has their own patented technology, which they're calling Cell Ox Shield. And that's what's really allowing this sunscreen to be photo stable, to offer UVB and UVA protection, broad spectrum. But their patented technology also brings in antioxidant protection as well. All right, so real talk. Do you need SPF 100? Because first of all, that exists. SPF 100? Do you need that? And is it real? Here's the deal on that. You may be thinking that SPF 100 is offering you 2 times the protection of SPF 50, and that's just not the case. SPF 100 offers a real incremental amount of protection over SPF 50, aka not that much, just a little bit more. I mean, SPF 100 was really developed for people with super sensitive skin that are very prone to burning. This is something like for my mom who gets an allergic reaction and a red rash that's super itchy if she is not protected properly from the sun, right? So that's really where SPF 100 plays a role, but it's not necessarily offering you double the protection. So I find the SPF 100 label to be a little bit misleading. The other thing about SPF 100 is I think it gives you this like false sense of security. Like, I have SPF 100. Nothing can get at me. I can take anything the sun throws my way. And that's not true. I think a lot of people would probably under apply a product like this because it's so powerful, right? No, wrong. You may not reapply. You may stay out in the sun longer. All of these things are not good. These are not good sun habits to get into, but a product like this may make you feel a little bit more infallible, and you still gotta wear hats, still gotta wear sunglasses, some protective clothing, right? So I just wanted to kind of like do that little PSA because it's super sexy sounding. It really seems like it's gonna offer the ultimate amount of protection, but it's probably not necessary for your everyday life. So let's talk scent. The SPF scent on this is like in the medium range. It's not super strong, not like the Neutrogena, but it's definitely noticeable, but I do think that it fades over time. You're not gonna smell it all day long. So the texture, I was a little bit apprehensive because I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, we've got SPF 100, higher percentages of all of the filters in this. I was thinking, is this gonna be super thick and like greasy on the skin? I did not know what to expect, but I was actually pretty surprised. Now, yes, higher percentages of the UV filters does make this the thickest sunscreen in this video, but not by as much as you would think. It's actually very surprising. The texture is still very pleasing. It spreads really nicely. It absorbs really well. You don't have to work this in forever. It really just blends into your skin very, very nicely. Definitely a medium weight on the face. This is not like lightweight and like, you know, super, super light like it's not there. No, this is definitely a medium weight sunscreen on your face. The finish on this is like semi-satin. I kind of just made that up because I can't make up my mind. Like, it doesn't look shiny on top of your skin. Like if you move your face like across the light, you wouldn't see a lot of shine on your face, but it does have like a little like greasy feel to it. Do you know what I mean? You just can't see it. And so that's why I call it like semi. Like it's in between like a greasy and in between like a dry. It's like somewhere in the middle, and I'm okay with that. Now, I did notice a white cast with this one, just like with the Neutrogena. It was like a, is it there? Is it not there? Did it fade? My eyes playing tricks on me. I think there was a little bit. It was not bothersome on my skin tone. It definitely built up around my eyebrows, so be careful. Like if you have dark eyebrows and you're always getting those like sunscreen residue hanging out around. I think I put on too much, nothing wrong with this, putting on a little bit too much sunscreen, and so I usually get built up around my eyebrows. Definitely noticeable around that area. But even so, it was definitely doable. It was really not very noticeable. I don't think anybody else would have noticed the white cast. It was just me being like, is there a white cast? Of course, you know, deeper skin tones, be aware, higher percentages, even in chemical filters, you know, mineral definitely, but even in chemical filters, higher percentages can start to yield that white cast. So I did not know what to expect as far as like the performance of this, because, you know, the first sunscreen I tried out of all of these was the Bondi Sands, and I had that dehydrated, dry and tight feeling on my skin that was very, very annoying, and I really wanted to wash my face in the middle of the day, you know what I mean? So I was like, oh no, higher percentages of these filters, is that going to cause more problems for me? I don't know. This is the very last sunscreen that I tested because I was actually afraid it was going to be like too much for my skin. I was wrong. I have no idea what makes these sunscreens tick and not tick. You know what I mean? Like I have no idea why they do or don't work on my skin. This was surprisingly comfy. I was floored. I was like waiting all day. The first day I tried it, I was like, where's the irritation? Where's the dryness? Where is it? Where is it? It never happened. I was very, very impressed with how comfortable this is. Now, I will tell you, at the very end of the day, when I washed my face, I might have felt just a touch more dry, but it was nothing that like a slightly more nourishing skincare routine didn't solve. You know, I just threw in a little bit of the Dr. Cerecal Kombucha tea essence, you know, that creamy, silky essence into my routine, and it was fine. So this wasn't like triggering my dehydration and making my skin irritated in the middle of the day. It was just maybe a little bit dry. I will say, you know, my feelings on SPF 100 that I said at the beginning of this segment still really stand. I don't think that you need this for everyday use on your face. But, you know, I do talk about a concept of a sunscreen wardrobe, having a few different products on hand for different situations, because it is really, it is a lot, you know, to ask one sunscreen to do it all for you, to be sweat resistant, to be waterproof, to be high performing, to be elegant, to wear well underneath makeup. You know what I mean? It's asking a lot, and you may find a handful, not a lot, but just a handful of products that you know, go to in different situations. One for hot and sweaty days, one for, you know, just in and out of the car, commuting to work, or going, you know, in and out of the store, something that looks really snatched underneath your makeup. Do you know what I mean? It's okay to have a couple of different favorites. And this is something that I would put in my sunscreen wardrobe for the days that I know I'm going to be outside for a really long time on a really high UV day. I will still apply this generously. I will still apply this every 2 hours. Reapplication and all of that is still really important with something like this. But when you need just a little bit more protection, this could play a role in your sunscreen wardrobe. Thank you so much for watching and spending some time with me. I had a lot of fun actually exploring these products. Very different for me to kind of like go outside of my like Asian beauty box, but I really did enjoy it, and I hope you did too. And I want to know, what sunscreen are you wearing right now? Let me know in the comment box below. If you love the video and this review helped you out, but you have not hit subscribe, please consider hitting subscribe before you leave. I release 2 new skincare focused videos every single week, and you want to turn on those notifications because I very often will release a 3rd video that week, some bonus content, and it doesn't happen on a schedule. It can happen at any time. So you want to be in the loop when those videos drop. So turn on notifications. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I can't wait to see you in the next video. Hoping you are healthy, you are happy, you are safe. And I can't wait for you to seize this day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.